Hello everyone and welcome to another Drafting with John. Well, we're going to be doing some Zendikar Rising. I hope everyone is well. It's a little bit nippy, a bit chilly around here, so I've got my little my warm drink. Truth be told, a lem sip to soothe a sore throat. Just a sore throat though. Everybody stay calm. Okay, the table's filled up quite quick. The last couple of drafts, probably said this the last couple of videos, last couple of drafts have lacked a little bit of, punch. So let's see if we can go for it. And if we're going to go for it, this is not a bad start at all. So the black-blue rogue deck. This is one of the ultimate payoffs for sure. Kind of have to put draft very specifically for it because you need that attacking early rogue to go. So it does tie us into two colours. However, I've got no problem with that. There's nothing really else that you'd really highly take. I mean, Lull Mage's Domination is really good, but again, it really ties you into blue. You're not splashing that at all. Shadow Stinger would go really well in the rogue deck. And we're going to end up basically looking to mill and to take rogues highly. So we'd like any of these to wheel. These won't wheel. But, the Pack Beast, the Skulker, the Subtle Strike, any of those would be really good. But Zereth-san, good pickup. Okay. Okay, so now we've got to look at... We've got two options here. We've got a... going along the rogues direction, and we've got having a just in case backup. So with rogues, we've got Seafloor Stalker, which is like an absolute beast of a card with Zereth-san because you can make it unblockable. Or I mean, it's good enough that the Attended Healer is that much better. I think we can miss one Seafloor Stalker on a speculation that we don't get Zereth-san to work. I don't mind a Living Tempest either because they're both sort of flash, so that's fine. But I'll take an Attended Healer because it's that much better. So someone's taken an uncommon and a common, but they haven't taken a Royal Eruption. Interesting. So looking at this pack. I'll be honest with you, again, I'm not seeing cards I am particularly interested in. I don't like Allied Assault. Akun Warrior's okay, but I would take a Royal Eruption over an Akun Warrior. Like Nahiri's Binding's pretty good. With the healer, Chilling Trap doesn't work with Zereth-san. The Squid doesn't work with Zereth-san. Blood Beckoning is okay. I feel like it's just a Royal Eruption. Just in case. Which sounds like such a weird pickup, but we're going to take it. Okay. This pack basically offers us nothing. Probably the best cards are the Fledgling and the Stampede. Now, Skitter Sneak is a rogue that would work with Zereth-san. But if we're looking at purely good cards, I think I'd rather have a Makindi Stampede. It may mean we can potentially go into like white-blue or white-black and splash as Zereth-san. I'm quite pleased I didn't go for the Rogue Impact 2 because it would have been very difficult at this stage. So now what signals are we getting? I mean, the Wind Robber works well being a one-drop flyer with Zereth-san. There's no white cards. There's no red cards. Subtle Strike is another one, but it's not as good as Wind Robber. We need rogues to start to make it happen. But Bubble Snare is really strong too. So I'm going to take the Wind Robber because if we're going to make Zereth-san work, we're going to need some of these one-drops. We're going to need some of these sort of evasive rogues. Okay. For me here, it's a Glacial Grasp. So Glacial Grasp taps a creature which enables us to potentially get our rogue through to then have Zerth-San. We can do this at the end of our opponent's turn potentially after they've played a creature, or we could do it at the start of their turn and we know it won't untap whilst we've got the mana open. Or if we don't think Zerth-San's on, we can do that on our turn, but it's mainly good for their turn. Okay. Wow. One thing we know is either there have been no black cards opened, or someone's just taken everything that is. We are going to be looking for some counter spells, but I think Sullen Division being an instance probably is as good as we're going to get. I don't really love this card, especially not if we're going to try and be quite quick with a rogue deck, but it's a double face card, so it's not going to do any harm. It's probably a Spare Supplies here. Farsight Adept's okay, but I'm not going to lose anything if I don't take it. And the Spare Supplies, you'd like to think if we're going to go blue, we don't need it, but at this moment in time, we're only drawing one card off the Grasp. Interesting. So either no one's in red because there was nothing red in that pack, but that is a good card. Soulmad Treachery is a good card. Skulker is a rogue in black. Like Treachery, it certainly isn't like amazing. I would say that Kazul's Fury, I think it is that the one I'm thinking of? Which is the fling, is better. We'll take a Tempest. I mean, maybe there just haven't been any black cards opened. We wouldn't mind a Negate, but I feel like Tempest for us here, we're kind of playing Flash, so I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, and we're already at a stage where a lot of these cards just aren't going to matter. I mean, I will take a Squid. I'm gonna move our white cards away. I'm gonna leave the Spare Supplies, and let's see what Pack 2 brings. So, this is decision time. We have got a Tended Healer, which if we'd have gone any further into Clerics, that Life Bomb would be amazing. If we were going to play blue-white and splash Zerth-San, Maul of the Skyclaves is absolutely amazing. But it does need you to equip for 2 white, so you can't splash it. Otherwise, Deadly Alliance isn't a bad pickup. I feel like black was cut big time. This is going to be a really tough one. I think Deadly Alliance as just solid removal feels like the right thing to do, and we're just going to have to hope that we keep black in some way and get enough blue. So we've got 2 here that we can kind of consider. Or 3 really. I like Pack Beast, but it doesn't give us as much as this Rogue would. I think we're going to go for the Rogue above the Feed the Swarm, which is risky, but at the moment, we've literally got 3 Rogues, and one of them is Zerth-San, so we'll take the Duelist, but it's going to be tough because we are passing black to who we can only assume. Oh, look at this second Life Bond. Oh, man. And that's the Kazul's Fury I was talking about. Oh, we could be red. I think this is really tricky. The second set of packs seemed certainly a lot higher in terms of what we want. So we either go down the route of taking the Glacial Grasp when we sort of cut off. We go Negate just to try, kind of keep keep our opposition away, or we mind drain. I mean, I think any of these cards are okay. I think just from the card draw perspective, I think Glacial Grass is just slightly higher for me. That could be very wrong. If there was something better, I would probably not want to take this, but I'm going to take the Mind Carver. I think for one, it comes on and gives a +1 that could be +3/+1. Like, re-equipping for 3 isn't great. But when we're kind of trying to play some evasive creatures, the only thing that it kind of doesn't work well with is Zerasan, in terms of if you equip this to a creature and then Zerasan comes in, then that creature leaves, so this would get unequipped. And I think we could wheel these rogues, and there really isn't anything else that we would even consider. So, okay, this is probably the last thing I'll take above a rogue, because like I said, we really do need 4 rogues. We really need 10+ rogues to make this work. So I'll take a Plague of Predation, almost purely because it's a good black card that is continuing on our kind of mission. So Zerasan, an unblocked attacking rogue. I think from a creature perspective, having a Gloom Hunter is going to be better for us than having a Deliberate. Gains us a bit of life. Subtle Strike becomes a bit of a removal spell for us. That is a shame that there are no rogues here, but I'll take the Amara Wizard. We are playing a fair few instants. Aha! Now the Golem would be good, but we really need unblocked rogues. So we're going to take this Seafloor Stalker and be grateful. There's nothing in here we want, so we'll take something with vaguely blue in it. Okay, we ended up pulling everything. We'll take this Blood Beckoning, because we may need to get rogues out of the bin. Nothing in here is of use. A Negate could well be played. In an ideal world, I'd like to be getting rid of some of these non-rogue creatures. Probably not the Gloom Hunter, it is very good. Because what are we on, 5? Yeah, this next pack just needs to be us picking up rogues. Yeah, so we'll take another one of these Seafloor Stalkers. It works really well with Zerasan, because you can play it at turn 3. Zerasan can be played turn 4. Hopefully this will mean someone will be taking all these good red-white, which obviously is not us. If we look at our curve, we do have 1 Deadly Alliance, 1 Subtle Strike, a Negate, a couple of Glacial Grasps, just to kind of keep us honest. So this is a tricky one. I think it's going to have to be Black Bloom Rogue, but Vanquish the Weak is certainly something I don't like to be without removal, but I feel like the Black Bloom Rogue is just too strong, and being a double-faced card. I'm more than happy to take a 2-drop that is, for all intents and purposes, just a rogue for us. It'll also help us potentially if we end up drawing an absolute bunch of islands, or whatever they're called. Okay, so this is a really tricky one. Ruin Crab is a big win con. I think it is powerful enough to forego a Zulaport Duelist. We do not have many win cons in this deck, and it does work well with Zerathan. I'm not sure we're going to be playing any of these cards. That is an absolutely fantastic pickup for us. A rogue that can become an unblocked rogue by tapping another rogue is that also draws us a card. Absolutely fantastic. At this point, I'm going to take the Seafloor Stalker again. We're probably going to get rid of one of these Glacial Grasps. If we think we've got 3, 4... 4 lands, so we may well play that Glacial Grasp. I'll put it back in just for now. We're still looking at 9 rogues. We'll take another Umara Mystic. At this stage, we're not necessarily as quick as we might like, and I don't know at what point we need to stop taking these modal double face lands. Our creature count is okay. I don't think we're going to play 2 spare supplies. I think at this point, black and blue is gone, so it would be unlikely that we get any other cards that we're happy with. Oh. Certainly not going to be playing 2 Deliberates. You know, the Umara Wizards may well be key cards for us in terms of the amount of low instants and sorceries we've got, or instant, should I say? Okay. So we've pulled a series of cards together. When we look at this, I've just got rid of a. Okay. So, Screw is better than Flood. Mana, that is. Question is, do we think running, if these are each half a land, we're running 16 lands. Is that enough lands? We can take a negate out for sure. I'm partially tempted to get rid of this Living Tempest. You know, card draw, we've got in terms of mill as well, that's the other thing. Is this Mind Carver worth it for us? So, mill a card. I mean, with the crab, it kind of makes the Mind Carver okay. We're drawing a card with the Deliberate. Am I happier to have a Deliberate than I am a Spare Supplies? I think I probably am. So I think I'd rather just stick with, we draw a card. We draw a couple off of the Glacial Grasps. We draw, if we get the Infiltrator through, we can draw off the Wind Robber. We steal their stuff off of the Trickster. We can technically draw off the Saloon Division. You know, our 3-drop slot does have 3 more in it. And our 5-drop is heavy with the Umara Wizard. I wonder if we need the Tempest if we've got the Umara Wizard, you know. And maybe we'd just rather have another... I think I'd just rather have another Deliberate in order to get the card draw. Okay. So we are running quite a low land count, but we've got to be prepared that we deliberate into more lands. And with the Ruin Crab, there could be an argument to say we should have more lands. But what would we get rid of? I feel like these guys should do it for us. So any hand that has 3 lands in it is just not going to be a bad hand. So Zareth, Sandman. Let's see how our black-blue rogues deck goes. Oh, I hope everyone's having a good Magic time. I saw that the Zendikar Mythic Championship was on over the weekend, and spoiler alert, it appears to have been won by a Scotsman, which is excellent. So we can turn 1 crab, which is just a recipe for disaster in terms of our opponent. We either go Pack Beast or we hold open a negate. I think we do Pack Beast. They're going to need some sort of removal, otherwise that crab's going to be a nightmare for them. Yeah. Okay, so here we're probably just going to want to get another rogue out, or are we going to want to... Let's see what they're working with. Oh, they're playing all sorts of crazy things in their hand. So us playing the Stalker next turn means that the turn after we've got the Alliance open. So that draws them a card. Whenever a land is a battlefield under opponent's control, if they had another land, that's fine. So this now costs us 3 to make this unblockable. So they're just putting that down. I'm not sure I'm that bothered by the I think I'm going to attack and see what they have. That's a trade that I'm happy with. So I'm aware that that could be brought out, but they're going to need to get a counter. So they're now just kicking for whatever they can. Yeah, so that's fine. So we can... We can just destroy that. I'm pretty happy just to get another one of these out. Next turn, can't make them both unblockable, but we can tap whatever they've got on our turn. Yeah, so next turn we have a 4/4 hitting them. I mean, we can just... Well, I guess the challenge here is, do we activate the ability? So next turn, they need to have killed both of those stalkers. Because we can activate... There we go. Because we can activate the ability on one of them. Okay, so it was quite a quick, speedy game. But I feel like them going 3 colours, is, I've said before, it's really tricky to do well. But we drew what we needed to. We've come out on top with a win. Which already we're in on the success train. Oh. Yeah, so it's nearly Christmas, everyone. Scary to think it's flown by. It's nearly 2021. We can nearly get rid of this year. And the next set, I mentioned it in the last video. Excited for that. Excited for like new sets. Hopefully in the not too distant future we can enjoy sets together. Imagnim. Yeah, so this is tricky. We're on the play and we're going to have to get rid of it. So this is a much better... Do I want to... I think we can risk it. Because we've got the Deliberate and the Squid and obviously the Skulker. We're going to draw and we need to draw into a land. We didn't. But I'm not overly bothered. We can get the Squid out. We're not under any pressure at this point because obviously they've only played 1 land. You'd have thought that, yeah, their curve's going to be pretty spectacular here. How much is that to equip? 3. I'm happy with that trade because I think that's going to be now pretty much useless. I'm going to play that as a land. And I'm going to put a Skulker out. If they want to kill the Skulker, they can. But next turn we have either a Deliberate or we have a crab. I don't think they're going to be able to cope with a crab very well. I think we're going to do this, and we're going to hold open the Subtle Strike for if they attack. Now they might equip the Scavenge Blade, at which point, yeah, it becomes a little bit trickier for us. We've probably telegraphed something like the Subtle Strike with the fact that we didn't play Wind Robber beforehand to give this Death Touch. But I mean, it would have been a trade anyway, so maybe we haven't. We could really do with drawing an island, but we're probably more inclined to want to Deliberate than to crab. Unless we draw like I said, unless we draw an island. Okay, equipping there. Okay, so if we block and we Subtle Strike, then we can't... Yeah, so... Yeah, so that's worked out well for us. We're going to scry on our turn. We're going to do this to draw this, even though it's not the greatest thing. It is a way of fixing our mana if we need to. Which means any land becomes a good land. So, with this amount of equipment, we have got to expect that we're going to see some sort of we've got to expect we're going to see some sort of like Nahiri or the there's a couple of the wizards that not wizards, warriors that make other warriors bigger, stronger. I will definitely trade the relic axed bug catcher for my skulker. Next turn we can get down the seafloor stalker, and that gives us a means to hit them. I'm going to get down this Sulundi Isle. There's the Nahiri. That's what we were expecting. So we're really happy to just not attack, keep drawing lands, keep milling them out. It will take a while. We don't have this on flash, obviously, yet. That's going to tie up the crab. It's going to tie up the skulker. Probably not the thing I would have tied up. So this thing's going to get plus 1, +1, so it's going to get an extra 2. So it's going to be a 5/3. Which we'll probably take a hit from, because it would be better to block it when I've got... Okay, so they can only kill one thing with that adept. We're taking 8. Next turn we'll hit them for 5. Not a good return. Or we could look to trade Pack Beast and Skulker with the Adept. They can only kill one. They'll probably kill the Skulker. Do I want to trade Stalker for Adept? I think we're just in a no-block situation here. We need to keep rogues on the board for if we get Zerasan, because if we get Zerasan, potentially we can pull out one of their, their Nahiri or something. Okay, so our land, not the greatest thing in the world. So passing the turn here, because the moment we're getting no joy attacking, it just leaves us vulnerable. We now have the duelist to make things harder for them. They're obviously going to have... if they've got nothing else to do, they'll probably attach the Scavenge Blade. You'd expect to the Adept in order to make it a bit trickier. That does have Trample, though, so it could be that they attach it to the Bug Catcher, and then they've got a 5, 6, 7 power attack, which with Trample, which we could take down to a 5. They're not equipping, so you would assume that they've got some sort of funny business. So We'll do this and we'll see if they respond. So we're going to pump the Stalker. Which doesn't really help at all. But we don't have anything else to do. Okay, so we're now looking at just trying to... Yeah, okay, that's not really stabilizing, is it? But... So I think with Trample, we have to sacrifice the crab. If they put the Scavenge Blade onto the Bug Catcher, then 7, and we can stop 4, so we'll take 3 damage. We'll take 4 damage. I think that's us done. Okay. Okay, so a bit frustrating having to mulligan down 1, but such is life. We will and interesting enough there, absolutely flooding out when we've only got 14 basic lands. So definitely not the wrong decision to look at our land count. We flooded a little bit, which is a bit frustrating. But... Right, we now need a slightly better curve, I think, against Vicious JS. So we'll keep this. Because we can deliberate. Yeah. We'll pass turn. We'll deliberate at the end of their turn. See what they're doing. We've got enough to Stalker next turn. And depending on how they deal with the Stalker, we can Mind Carver. So they're currently mono green, which is interesting. There's plenty of small green creatures. Okay, that says to me that they're running out of lands and they're thinking, I'll do this now. There's no need for me to do it later. Do I want a Soul Strike? I think I just want creatures. So yeah, I draw an absolute ton of lands. So good blocker here. That's going to struggle to do anything against that. If they straight up attack, okay, with black, I won't block because they can represent what they like, but they haven't got anything, so that's good. So at this stage, we're probably saying they've got no tricks. Quite like playing this now, so I can see what they've got, what they're working with. So that's good. So that's kind of... Oh, Zarathan in the bin isn't ideal. But we do have a Blood Beckoning, so we could always get it out. So this gives me a +1, which would make that 3, which means I could kill them both. Would I trade? Yeah, I'm not going to trade here for the reason that I'm not that bothered by the Sky Dancer. I know they haven't got anything. I can tap the Sky Dancer down before their next phase. Yeah, so this is pretty good for me. It would cost me 4. So before combat on their turn, we're going to Glacial Grasp their Sky Dancer. Then on our turn, we can Blood Beckoning back our Zarasan. We've got a good blocker, we've got a good attacker. Okay. All continues to be well for us here. We're sending in the Skulker because trading here, which it would be a trade. Yeah, I'd like them to double block. That'd be ideal. So we can now get the Zarasan and the Stalker out, the Skulker out, Stalker, with the Blood Beckoning next turn, and then play the Skulker again. So we've traded off for nothing. Okay. We'll take 4. That changes things a little bit. Five in the bin. So the options we've got here is we attack the Seafloor Stalker. We've got Gloom Hunter, which we'd have to play for everything. So doing this gives us a Death Touch to kill their Nisses, whatever. We're going to take 3 in the air. So that's annoying. That is definitely annoying. But they knew we had it anyway, so that isn't an issue. They tap the Crawling Barons to do that. So it's not the end of the world. Next turn, we Gloom Hunter. We get a 3/3 lifelink. And then we pass the turn. I think the Simara Wizard is better for us to be a wizard. We've got plenty of lands. You know, they're sitting on 6. We need them to be at 8, I think, for that Stalker to become big and scary. So they know if they attack. Okay, Relic, Amulet, no wizards or sorceries. Interesting. So us having a wizard out is going to lower this. We've got 3 lifelink in the bag. Yeah, that's going to get annoying if they play a couple of things. A couple of little instants or sorceries. I can't imagine they've got any wizards. There's probably, I think there may be 1 wizard in green. Okay, so I'll block there. And if they want to play something, they can. But it just feels like a strange... Okay, and then they use the 2 to kill the Seafloor Stalker. That's fine. Main decking Broken Wings is an interesting move. So I think now we're at a stage where we're going to want to start... piling out more creatures. That Crawling Barrens will grow if they want it to. I'm quite scared of an attack here. Like I said, I'm not too bothered by that. So they've obviously got something going on. I'll offer that trade, and I'll offer that trade. So they now have given this 5/3 menace. So I'm going to hit them pretty significantly next turn. The Crawling Barrens is obviously there, ready to go as a 2/2. I will happily kill their Crawling Barrens. Seems like a pretty good trade in for us. Crawling Barrens is far stronger than that. Black Bloom Rogue with Menace is annoying, but... we've got good blocks here. And with 3 toughness, it's going to be really tricky for them. They have to remove both Stalkers. I'm not quite sure what they did that for. It comes back to the battlefield, but both my Stalkers can be unblockable. Yeah, okay. So that was a tough one. That was a toughie, for sure. I'm not quite sure what their deck was doing, but then again, half the time, I'm not sure what my deck's doing. So, what can I say? It feels like we've got a decent amount of interaction, though, which is good. And again, drawing a lot of lands. Drawing a lot of lands when... we don't have many lands to draw. But you can see the value of the modal double-faced, because late game we're just playing creatures. You know, that rogue, the wizard, they became incredibly useful. Zamox. Okay, so this is a bit annoying. But we do have a couple of things to do on turn 2, and all we need to do is draw an island, and suddenly the crab The crab's the business. Yeah. Because of the way this format works, we need to draw this crab. Get it out. They're playing. Yeah, so they if they could, they should have killed that. They're in green and in black. Obviously, being in black is more scary. Okay, they're probably encounters then. I'm probably more interested in getting this squid down. Annoyed we didn't draw a land. But what can you do? We kept a 2-land hand. We drew a land, so 3 is not a bad place to be. Yeah, we milled 3 lands for them, so they may not have a land. They're just okay. So Glacial Grass needs to be done on their turn. I'm happy to play a couple of things out in order to make the most of it. Grackmore doesn't look good with the Skulker. And I'll trade the Pack Beast for the Pack Beast. Now that I've got a Wind Robber out. They've probably got a trick, but at this stage, a Subtle Strike probably kills the Wind Robber or the Pack Beast and buffs something. But they're going to struggle to get away from... Okay. Drew a card off that. That's fairly good. Okay, so double tricks. Like, what am I to do? Okay, well, we pulled another land. Unfortunately, not the land we would have wanted. You know, we can get rid of the Grackmore with the Deadly Alliance next turn. We can get Sure-Footed Infiltrator out next turn. So we'll block here. I would have liked to have sacrificed my Wind Robber. Opponent discards 2 cards. We're getting a little bit sorted here, I feel. So on the one hand, I really want a 4-3, but on the other hand, I want to be able to win the game. I'm just going to take 6. Next turn. So if we kill this, they get a big, scary creature. That's annoying. Makes it a little bit easier, I guess. I still don't like our chances here. They have any way of making this game. So a subtle. I think we've seen our subtle strike go. So I think we don't have. I mean, we can't draw 2 creatures. What could we draw? A Glacial Grasp. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, we did not have a deck that was gonna work here. That was a little bit of a. That was a good. I like that black green counters with the Grackmore. Sweet. Come on now. We don't want to be in that situation where we're like 2-3 or whatever. We want to be up there. The 4-3, make this a respectable showing. And MTG JT. That's fair. Right, so we can keep this because we've got 3 creatures. We can go turn 1 Immoral Wizard down as a land, unless no. What am I saying? Unless what? The reason that we've got less lands in our deck is so that we can do that if we need to. Certainly on turn 1, would have preferred to have made that. So the reason I would Squid over Gloomhunter is because I think Squid hits for 3 next turn. Gloomhunter, really, if we can, we're going to want that to be a turn 6 or a 6 mana card. Next turn we can play Swamp, hit with Squid. Play Stalker. Turn after that, if we draw a land, all is good. If we don't, we can play Salundi Vision as a land and still play another Stalker. They're 3 coloured. Okay. Interesting. So they had other things that they could do, clearly. So what instants and sorceries could we be interested in? I'm not sure we could be interested in many. I think I'd rather just have the land. We can't make that bigger yet, but we could. No, I think we're better off attacking with the Squid. They either trade off or we hit them for 3. Okay. They're using a Chilling Trap, which they don't draw a card off. They take a life because of the Lithoform Blight. And they lock down my defender. So Gecko is a really frustrating card for sure. And they're now able to kick things for 1 less. And we'd rather destroy it than... So if we attack with that, and they block with both, we kill the Gecko, right? Okay. I'm not going to tap down before combat because they're certainly not going to attack with either of their creatures. But before the end of their turn, I'll tap down the Cleric. Unless they do something fancy to the Gecko, but it's unlikely that they will. I've got 5 mana open in 3 different colours and a gecko, which means they could kick for 6. It's quite scary. 6 is that's the cusp of where it becomes good. Half of me is tempted not to Glacial Grasp the Cleric because we'd only be hitting them for 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's a more inviting target. I mean, that's worked out well enough that I don't feel I need to necessarily play that. I'm going to keep the... I don't have anything I want to Bloodbeckon back. I want to keep the Subtle Strike for when it matters in combat. Because if they kick a spell this turn now for 6, and then they copy it, which makes that 3, that becomes killable. We're going to send back the Stalker, I assume. And the other Stalker, or maybe the Stalker and the Squid. Because they've already locked down one of them. Yeah, so them having 2 of those, yeah, okay, things have become trickier. At least in terms of benefit for us. We're able to lay down a couple of blockers. The Squid blocks anything that they've got at the moment. 1 more land and our Gloom Hunter looks really good. So them reclaiming the waste, making that a 4/4 is annoying, but again, not the end of the world. If they double it up, then that becomes a 1/1, so we can Subtle Strike that next turn. Not that they could do anything with it. That's now had its chance. Yeah, they're not going to attack, which is fair. Okay, so really for us here, it's a pretty easy... like, attack, attack. See what they want to do. So if we Subtle Strike... like that. Okay, 2 lands isn't the end of the world at all. It didn't work out for them. I still kill it and I don't die, so that didn't really work. I fancy our chances getting the Gloom Hunter down. Especially with a 4/4 Stalker. But, you know, if they've got hands full of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they can still kick for... well, now they can kick for 8. They can't copy it, though, which I think is pretty important. It's very interesting that you have a Gloom Hunter like that. That gecko growing is annoying, but not unbearable. Because next turn we're going to need to just Seafloor Stalker at least once. If they can't remove that Stalker, I think that's game, isn't it? Okay. So that was scary in the middle there. Kicker decks can be really scary, but we got there and we're nearly in that old gold tier again. Whew. It's certainly a longer game when you play. But hard fought. Luckily, hard won. Three times out of 5. It would be nice to get 4 or 5. It's somewhat likely. There's an unpredictability about our deck. Cousland. Like couscous. I mean, turn 1, crab. Negating whatever they do turn 2. Followed by a Stalker on turn 3. This just looks like the dream, doesn't it? What's great about this, right, is we hold the negate up and we deliberate at the end. As long as they don't kill us this with the next thing they do. Beautiful. So, non-creature spell. Go on, whack an artifact down. So, they're all about creatures. Having another Stalker's pretty good. I think getting the Predation out is probably better. So we're getting the Stalker out because it blocks the bug catcher, and I will make that trade. And I'll trade whichever. Obviously the bug catcher first. Because this game for us is about, we can blood beckoning things back, but we are already looking to try and mill them out. Okay, if they've got a second Legion Angel, I'm going to brick it. Okay, whew. Still not good. So, I feel like we get the Seafloor Stalker out. We're going to take 4 in the air, but it's not lifelink at this stage. So we are going to be able to Deadly Alliance it next turn. Okay, so they've got no effects, which is fine. Fisher Wizard's fine. So there's a bit of a party theme going on here. Yeah, so it really just is one of those. I feel like we just need to be milling them out. gives us potential to kick when we need to. We're holding them back completely. We've taken away their warrior. They've got 2 clerics now, so that's now got lifelink, which is, again, it's annoying. Using that then is not an issue for me at all. So we can either what am I more interested in? We've got no lands in there. They're on 15. So the reason I've done it like this is because I want to keep the Umara Wizard to play. The Expedition Skulker I can trade off with whatever they've got. Yeah, so we've got a negate open. We're kind of looking at the mill strategy at this point, which isn't, it's not the most noble wins, but sometimes it just needs to be done. Having a 4-3 out is a pretty board dominating situation. Them killing it is annoying, but such is life. Okay, so we're going to take 4, which is irritating. Okay, it's like a bit of a game of attrition here. We can mill them for 2 at flash speed. I've got 5, so I can sure-footed infiltrator. Or I can glacial. I just feel like we pass the turn. And then before we get to combat, yeah, we managed to come off okay on that one. Okay, so we're passing the turn. They've got 3 cards in their deck. We can chuck the duelist under the bus. If they do anything, we've got the negate. That's the milled. It's not a noble way of winning. But it was I feel just as bad as I'm sure you do. You look, it's a win. It's a win. It's a condition of the game. Oh dear. I hate getting milled. Oh, I hate it. Why am I smiling so much? Okay, it's a 4-2. Could it be a 5-3? I think a 5-3 with this deck would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh, it was squeaky bum time in there. I could have mind carved onto the sure-footed infiltrator, which would have put it at 5 power, so it would have been able to defend the warrior, but they would have untapped with the Kabira Outrider, which would have been 3 damage, so it would have been touch and go. But the negate didn't do anything apart from reassure me. It's another turn 1 crab. Oh no. You hate to see it. Stir fry, love stir fry. What a name! You hate to see it. Oh no, and they're having to reclaim the wastes in order to get a land. I'm going to get the squid out just because it gives us something, you know. That Grakmor's not great, is it? I like the Wind Robber because it's in the air. I like that block because it just seems like a bit of a pointless thing to do on their part, but I'll take it. Yeah, me passing to attackers there was a terrible decision. Made an error. Should have Glacial Grasped earlier. We're looking at another mill win here. Turn 1 Ruin Crab. Not a lot I can do. What I would say though is we will now Glacial Grasp that. Oh, got rid of the Nissa. Oh no. You assume they're going to play something for like however many it is. Okay. There's not really going to be a better target. And we need to keep milling them with the Wind Robber. A 3/3 flying lifelink seems to be pretty... Oh, they're going to Blood Beckoning? Or if they thwart the grave... Balaga Recovery. Fine. Fine. Get Nissa. Nissa gets played. Ooh, not ideal. You hate to see it. Menace Haste. going to have something pretty nice, I expect. Turn Timber, or Grakmore, or a Helion. Okay. Fair, fair, fair. A 6/7 isn't ideal. They've got 6 cards in there. I don't know if we're going to win on what I want to win on. Okay. So we have enough to kill their thing, but we will take 6 from the Helion, which is not ideal. However, they are only on 4 cards, so it's a risky strategy doing this. We're now within Royal Eruption range. Ooh, Leyline Tyrant. Okay. I don't like this at all. I've got to survive 3 turns. Okay, there you go. We finally did Black Blue Rogues. We got so close to a mill in that game. Oh, them getting rid of that crab. What a shame. But good on them. What can I say? We ended with a not so terrible 4-3. Back into some sort of normality with drafting. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you thought of the deck, the milling strategy. Either way, I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.